Hey, oh, we only had a little bit of sliding on the windows here, so I'll fix that in just a second here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Fistful of Dice. My name is Matt. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We are running a one-shot game of Mecha Hack in kind of celebration of the Kickstarter that's happening. So in the link down in the description, there's a link down in the description to go check out the Kickstarter. Definitely go check that out. We are kickstarting Mission Manual, which is our follow-up to this game, and it has new chassis, new pilot options, new weapons, equipment, modules, and also missions. So a bunch of these guys here down below are running some of that new stuff. So we've got some new chassis and new pilot types in the makeup, and I am also running a mission from the book. And to prove just how versatile and modular the book is, I am running it with zero prep aside from having it in front of me. So granted, I did write this mission, but beyond writing the mission, I have done no prep. So I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves and also introduce their mecha. So go ahead and tell us your call sign, the pilot type that you chose, the chassis type that you chose, and if you have any cool modules that you're excited about using tonight. So we'll start down below here with Craig, who's playing Vulcan Crusader. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Craig.
Hey y'all, my name is Dan, and I'm the pilot of Vulcan Crusader tonight, the Colossus of the group. Super excited to take this massive monstrosity and turn it into a high-speed death machine.
Awesome. Jeff, go ahead.
Yep, I'm Jeff. I am going to be playing Phantom Alpha, which is the what's the name? The Vanguard mech. Gonna be playing real fast and loose with that power diverting, so we'll see how that goes. And I am also playing the Pariah pilot, so gonna be up to some weird shenanigans in the meantime as well. But yeah, definitely looking forward to giving them all a shot.
Yeah, I actually had a kind of a back and forth with somebody on the Kickstarter today, because he was looking at we have the little sample spread there, and you can see the Vanguard chassis, and he was like, that divert power ability seems very powerful. And we were kind of having like a back and forth where he was like, my players are definitely going to be assholes about that and totally exploit it. Like, just be aware that, like, that's really good. So we'll see how that goes. Joe, go ahead, man.
Tonight, I'm going with an old favorite right out of the original core book, taking the Quipster for a pilot. And I am sporting the new auxiliary chassis. Definitely like in on that support kind of class. And I'm actually really excited for this core override ability and the reinforce. The reinforce gives me some Bard vibes, and
yes,
I heart me some Bard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm piloting Saber Eon tonight. Pilot's name is just Jonesy. Everybody just calls me Jonesy. Don't worry,
Awesome.
When we're done cleaning up this battlefield, I got some scones in the oven.
Damn, don't make promises you can't keep. We're going to want those scones after this is done. They're like cooking on your reactor, just baking.
Yeah.
Scott, go ahead, man.
Hey, I'm Scott. I am playing I've got the sunglasses on. It's really hard playing at night.
You wear your sunglasses at night so you can keep track of the visions in your dreams. We know how it works.
Exactly. I'm playing Slapshot, who is a Maverick from the core book, but I am currently running with a hybrid mech, which is one of the new ones. So we're gonna try that out. It's essentially like if you've seen that show that has that guy, the Evangelion type thing that fights angels, you know what I'm talking about?
It is
like that.
legally dissimilar to EVA Unit 01.
Yeah, it's dissimilar enough.
Yes.
But no, it's got some cool stuff. I just have to worry, unlike everyone else, if my reactor overheats, I don't overheat. I go insane. So we'll see what happens.
Yes. Yeah, the hybrid is capable of going berserk if the reactor overheats, so we'll see how that goes for sure. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in. We're gonna go ahead and just jump right in here. One thing that I am gonna do is I'm gonna ask you guys, because I'm using some of the new add-on rules, and one of the things I want to test out tonight are these environment templates, and these are some rules that myself and Michael Barker wrote up, and they're basically rules that you can slot over whatever mission you happen to be playing to change the environment, and it messes with the rules a little bit, both thematically and mechanically. So I want to present you guys with some options. Do you want to have this set in space, in a ruined city, or underwater? What do you think?
Oh boy.
Wow.
I don't think I don't think that we spec for space combat, so I think we should do space combat.
That's not where I thought that was going, but okay, we got one vote for space.
The options were, what was it? Space, ruined city, and underwater, right?
Yep, space, ruined city, and underwater.
I always like the city theme for mech, just because you get the collateral damage angle added in there as well,
Yep.
which is always spicy.
Mhm.
But I'm down for whatever.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Right? Do you want to vault over buildings? Do you want crushing pressure? Or 0G?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I did a
Oh,
dice
man.
roll, Joe, so if you have an actual opinion, you should share it. I let the dice decide on my opinion.
I'm actually gonna take your thing. I'm going dice roll. We'll see what we got here. Oh, I rolled a 1. First option for me.
So space. That's
Well,
two
that's
votes for
D6.
space.
That cuts it right in half because my dice said ruined city, so...
Perfect. So,
Water's out.
Space station,
Space City.
Ruined city in space.
right? Ruined space station.
I'm down with that if you guys are, because
Alright,
here's the
that's fine with
thing.
me.
The ruin is designed to work. You could have it be a derelict in space. In fact, I think we have it literally a sentence in here where it's like you can combine the space and the ruin to create like a derelict spaceship. So we'll play with that. That'll be fun. Okay.
Spaceship, so we're talking like Warhammer 40k level of size. That's what we're
Yeah,
talking
like a big like dreadnought.
about.
Just
It's a giant
drifting.
city, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oak.
So, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what these do. So, the ruined environment template, cover. Mecha can find and gain cover easily among the ruined walls, bombed out vehicles, and abundant debris. In addition, at the GM's discretion, a mecha gains advantage on mobility tests made to hide, and disadvantage on system tests made to detect enemies. So, the abundant cover makes it easier to hide for both you and your enemies. We have some rules in here that salvage is fairly abundant. If at any point you guys want to try and take advantage of any sort of salvage that might be floating around, we can talk about that. And the third item here, unstable debris. A mecha that rolls a natural 20 on a power or mobility test dislodges loose materials or topples a nearby structure. That mecha and all mecha and enemies at close and near range must roll an ability test to avoid damage. So basically, you're floating around in space. There's a lot of debris. If you roll a critical miss on a check, you could potentially break loose some of that debris and have to deal with that. So, and then in terms of space, I'll say it like Tim Curry in that FMV video. 3-dimensional movement. Obviously, you can move in any direction, up or down, left or right. Up and down is relative in space. And vacuum sealed. Each time a mecha takes critical damage, they must test system or lose life support for 1d4 rounds. Mecha are disabled until they take a use action to make a system test to repair the breach. So, things to keep in mind. A natural 20 means that you dislodge some debris, potentially take some damage. If you take critical damage, you got a hole in your hull and you have to do a system test to repair the breach before all of your O2 comes venting out into space. Fun.
Jeff,
Very fun.
I had the opposite thought that you had. I was like, oh, I'm so glad that my system is so high.
I was like, yeah, I won't be able to detect people with or without cover. My system's low. And then immediately after that, it's like, and also. she's taking a crit.
Oh boy. All right. Jeff's about to have a really
be
fun
fine.
session here. Yeah.
Right.
In addition
Maybe I should have
to,
got more to repair 9 nights.
yeah, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and roll a d6 to randomly determine the objective of your mission. 2. Okay. Here we go. Pilots, the enemy stands fast against our assault. Their blockade, ironclad, seems almost impenetrable. With Mecha bolstered by artillery and nimble air support, we break against their lines again and again, and at great cost. We have but one option left: a surprise, surgical strike against their command unit, carried out by an elite fire team. You. Frequent Mecha patrols and gunship sorties ward attackers from the blockade's flank, while fortified artillery emplacements protect the enemy command unit. This is our most desperate hour. We must cripple their resolve or perish beneath their weapons. Your objective: you must commandeer enemy radar installations. Once you've done that, we can disable their communication, surprise them from all sides. If your mission is clear, fire team, we're going to deploy you into the field. Any questions about what you need to do here?
No, let's just get on with it.
Seems like a normal day for me. Get in the radars, shut them down. I'm on it.
We're on it. We're all in this together. We've been running around like this for what? 10 years now? Come on.
Well, when you put it like that, it sounds like a long time.
I'm not sure how long you've been running around together. I've just joined this team. But I think I can get through this radar signature. I know the codes, the passcodes. Let's see what happens.
Oh, you uptown then, ain't you?
So, as you were deployed into the field, we see space. We see just the sprawling blackness of the void. And the blockade itself is sort of encircling this planet. But just outside of the blockade, there's this drifting wreckage, this dreadnought that broke apart years and years ago and is just kind of, it almost is like a river of debris that's just running through space. Long ago, likely ransacked of anything useful, but the sheer size of it is truly incalculable, roughly the size of a city, as we discussed earlier. So you have ample cover from the scanners of the blockade's forces. As you approach in a stealthed dropship, the dropship fires its forward thrusters, just hissing as it releases air, not firing any engines to try and stay silent. It comes to a stop. The hangar opens up. And who's the first to disembark?
It's definitely me. Definitely me.
All right, Voodoo Slapshot, go ahead and describe your mecha as you disembark from this carrier that has brought you here.
So, I mean, even if I wasn't the first in line, the mecha just sort of elbows through in like a non-dangerous, destructive way. It's kind of like, yeah, thanks. But as I leap from the hangar, the mech is a sort of like there's like tissue kind of underneath a lot of this metal debris. So there's like these metal chunks all over it, like these plates that are on the shoulders and the arms and the chest. But underneath, you guys can see the fleshness, that there's some kind of meaty structure. But that's also apparent when it opens its mouth, which has like an actual articulating mouth with teeth inside. But it is black. And there's just random like things painted on it that appear random to you, but make sense in the enemy coded structure. But to you, they just look like random symbols all over it in various different places. But strapped to the back is a giant rifle, and I'm holding two-handed the plasma axe as I leap out of this dropship.
Awesome. Who's next?
Vulcan, the Colossus, sort of, I imagine, kind of has to lean and duck under the exit from this vessel as he jumps out, this sort of massive, hulking, armored monstrosity, sort of strong crab vibes going on, with kind of angles, heavy joints, lands solid, brandishing a large chain blade.
Awesome. Who's next?
Phantom Alpha will then follow behind. Looking forward, the mech, tall, but not nearly the size of the others. Surprisingly lean, geared much more for speed and for damage rather than for survivability. There's already, at this point early on, like a slightly reddish glow from where the reactor is on the mecha. It seems like it's pushing the rest of the systems perhaps harder than the other ones are, and seems to be using a good portion of its power for things other than just maintaining stability. And as the mech moves forward, it moves surprisingly like a human, given that it's not biological in the other mech. We can see from the inside perhaps why, that the pilot, Kira, has the mech like wired directly into them rather than having controls, given that they cannot see. And as they look forward through, what the only thing that they can see is just these strange colored cascades moving from the other pilots inside their mecha, the emotional signatures that as a pariah he's more sensitive to than perhaps the others. We can see the confidence and the pride in the team radiating off from them as they gear in to follow behind.
Awesome. All right, Saber Eon, you are lumbering out of the hangar last. Go ahead and describe what that looks like.
Yeah, last but not least, as each of the other mechs have gone by, Saber Eon has kind of been, holding onto the side of the ship, looking out the door, watching him pass, and he's watching him go down. And he kind of, this mech, which looks more like, I guess, like a construction kind of vibe. It's big, it's heavy, it's clunky. There's no head on the unit itself. Everything is housed in this massive kind of barrel chest, if you can imagine, which, space needed to hold the extra large reactor and all of its extra stuff to funnel that energy and draw energy from others. And he's sitting there and he's kind of mops his brow, looking over. Oh, that is a long way down. Oh, okay, there's no gravity in space. There's no gravity in space. You're not gonna fall. It's not as high as it looks. And then he finally, places that hand on the edge and swings himself out. Oh boy. Oh, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. And he thumps to the ground behind the others in this ruined hulk and kind of looks up and starts making his way in behind everybody.
From where you have touched down, you can see in the distance the kind of glimmer of steel of all of these like cruisers and carriers and stuff that are all just situated around this planet, and they're sort of concentrated in a ring, but you can see that they're just like fully encircling this planet, and there's actually like little battles happening everywhere in the distance. You just see these little like pops of explosions and like flashes of like beam weaponry going out as the cruisers kind of like exchange volleys. But you know that this like siege has been going on for weeks at this point, and you're here to finally break the blockade. Oh my god, I said the name of it. And so you touch down on this Hulk, and the carrier that brought you here, the hangar sort of closes, and you hear over the comms, probably the last thing you'll hear from command while you're on this mission. Good luck. Godspeed. You're our last hope. And the dropship just sort of takes off and disappears into the blackness of space as its stealth technology sort of clouds it. So you're on the exterior of this blasted apart Hulk, this dreadnought that has been broken apart. There are huge pieces of it littering space, almost like floating islands that you can travel to. And you see the blockade in the distance, and you also know that the radar installation that you are to take control of is on the other side of this debris. If you can get there, you could potentially take control of it. What I'm going to need from all of you starting out here is a mobility test with advantage from the ample cover that the debris gives you. And in case it's been a while since you played Mecha Hack, you're trying to roll under your ability.
You sound nervous there, Saber. We've done this before. Come on. I heard you on your way down.
Was my Vox on? I didn't think you guys could hear me. I'm not worried about the mission. It's the heights, man.
No. You flip the switch down, not up.
I don't have that luxury. My Vox is always on. It's sort of the downside of the enemy design. They listen to everything we say. Everything we say.
All right, did everybody pass, it looks like?
Yep.
Great.
I
So,
would not have had I not had advantage, though.
well, there you go.
I was
Good
19,
thing.
I was like,
Good thing we didn't just choose space, but also the ruined environment template so that you could get advantage on that test. Almost as soon as you touch down and you're barely able to kind of take cover and dip out of sight as a wing of interceptors comes screaming past in a patrol across the debris field. They sort of rocket overhead, take a round on another pass, and then head back toward the convoy in their patrol. So, how do you want to proceed here? How do you want to move across the debris field? How are you going to get to that radar installation on the other side?
I'm not sure about you guys. I think it's a matter of moving from cover to cover, trying to maintain our secrecy because they don't know we're coming. As clearly indicated by the fact that that strike team didn't just try to bomb us as they flew overhead. So, last one to the radar point. It's a rotten egg. Is that what you're saying?
We shouldn't move too quickly. We don't want to be discovered. Cause unnecessary fighting.
We don't want to be too slow either. I think the real question that we have to ask ourselves is, do we want to stay in a big group or do we want to fan out a little bit?
Well, a little bit of spread will, I mean, it'll kind of give us the advantage. Because if we are spotted, we don't want to all be collected up in one big ball. Easy enough to be kneaded like so much dough.
Yeah, I mean, we should...
Spread them out like rolls.
Do we just want to be near each other?
Visual confirmation or visual distance? I think that sounds like the way to go.
Close
Yeah.
enough to respond in the event that danger comes, but
As
not
much
so
as
close that an attack would destroy all of us.
Yeah, as much as splitting on either side would give us crossfire to take out enemies that might try to attack one of the other teams, I think maybe spreading out in a group near each other on the same side, whichever direction we go, would be smarter. I agree.
Okay, cool. Noted. So all of you are within near distance of each other as you move forward across this debris field. The debris itself, it's so spread out that there are like miles between some of these chunks that you have to use your thrusters to get across. You move through the debris, maybe even moving stuff aside, moving through the catacombs of this dreadnought that once housed thousands of people on its crew. You move across, and you see this first gap that you must go across. I'll need a mobility check from everyone to try and get across, or a system test to basically calculate exactly how you have to get across using maths and things.
Can't be doing none of that math stuff. As for the learned people,
So I guess if I'm angling too hard, you can absolutely shoot me down. But one of the things that I do have as a module is jump jets.
Yeah.
Would that be enough to cover the distance instead?
I'll say that absolutely it is. Yep. So that would make it so you wouldn't have to roll.
Perfect.
You'd still
Well,
have to roll your
will have
reactor
to-
die. Yeah.
Yeah, so I am actually gonna to double up on my modules here. One of the other ones that I took, which I'm excited to put to the test here, is the Geist system.
Yeah.
So instead of rolling your reactor die, you can choose to test presence. If you succeed, you don't have to roll the reactor die, and if you fail, you have to roll it and take damage.
Yeah.
So I am going to do that instead.
Cool. I'm excited. We haven't tested this yet. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, and I'm going to do a little bit of flavoring on the jump this here, if that's okay.
Yeah,
To
please
kind of
do.
Fit in with the Phantom part of the Phantom Alpha. So Kira within the mech and Phantom Alpha as a mech exudes this like strange presence. You like can't help but feel it, even if the mech is like smaller in size compared to the other like hulking beasts. It has some sort of almost aura to it that makes it strange, nearly supernatural. And the mech will almost lean down as if it's going to like leap like a person would. And as it does so, there will be this like quick flare from where the reactor is before Phantom Alpha will just like disappear like a specter before reappearing on the other side as the jump jet will transport it through space.
Hell yeah.
As I succeeded on my presence test
Cool.
to not have to roll my reactor.
That never gets old.
That's really
And
cool.
And in complete opposite fashion of grace, or a lack of grace, Saber kind of comes up, standing at the edge of the wreck, looking over. It's not gravity. It's not gravity. The void is not gravity. You're not going to fall. And he starts kind of looking across at some of the other small bits of wreckage, seeing like his line, and makes his slow jumps up, kind of, using hands to claw across one piece of debris and another before he kind of comes moving in on the other, sliding to a stop, dabbing his forehead again. There's no heights in space. There's no heights in space.
So the
Is
problem,
my Vox on again?
the problem that Voodoo Slapshot has is that we tried to jump at the same time that Saber did. So as Saber was pushing all these pieces of debris, sort of clawing them away, they bumped into, some of them did, into Voodoo Slapshot, and I missed the jump. So I did not land on the other side properly or at all, or whatever the outcome was of failing.
Yep. So I'm gonna say that you kind of overshoot it by a little bit, and as the debris hits you, it completely throws your navigation off course, and you just start like spinning in space, and you just see the like star field and the planet sort of spinning on your HUD. Go ahead and give me a presence test.
Bunch of random Japanese lettering appearing, telling me.
Yep. Wait. Yep.
The orange signs. Yep. All over
Yep.
the place.
So presence test, please, to try and not succumb to the space sickness.
All right. So I have a 13. I rolled a 13, so that's a failure according to if I remember
Okay.
the rules correctly.
Yes. So you will have disadvantage on your next test. As you, this, by the way, is one of the hazards of the space environment, which I rolled to see when Scott failed his test to try and just throw something fun into the mix. So that's one of the features that you can expect to find in Mission Manual on Kickstarter now. So as this starfield is just spinning in your HUD, you feel yourself start to experience vertigo. Your kind of nausea kind of welling up within you as you're struggling to sort of fire the correct thrusters to correct your path and not go careening into space.
So I'm trying to keep it all contained, but I don't. So I get it all under control, right? Like that's what you're saying. I do gain control.
Yep, you're able to gain control, but
I gain control. But as soon as I gain control and everything straightens out, I immediately go out onto like part of my suit from the vertigo, and just kind of go, oh. And everything's still kind of moving, even though I know it's straight.
I imagine there's like an automatic vacuum system that kicks on to like suck all the vomit out of your cockpit, so it's not floating around.
Yeah, right. Also, because I'm also in kind of liquid, I guess, if I remember correctly. Anyway,
True. Yeah.
But then the other part of that is that because I already just clarified that my Vox never shuts off, you guys all hear that.
Yeah, the vomit sucker module is a new one in Mission Manual, actually. So I'm really glad you were able to take that. So as this happens and you kind of start spinning off course, the rest of you arrive at your destination, but you see Voodoo Slapshot spinning into space, and this wing of interceptors passing by. You see them immediately like fire their thrusters and sort of rocket toward your direction. As they're flying towards you, there's a flash, and all three of these interceptors transform, and they become Mecha as the arms and legs kind of shoot out, the wings slide backward, and the cockpit folds down to become the chest of these Mecha, and each of them pulls out this machine gun from their back. Let's go ahead and roll initiative. So initiative, if you don't remember, is either mobility or system, whichever is higher for you. If you succeed, you get to go before the bad guys. If you fail, you go after. So you can just let me know in the chat if you want, if you succeed or fail.
I am not fast.
So looks like everyone is going first except for Joe. So Vulcan, Phantom, and Voodoo, you all get to go before the bad guys. You can go in any order that you wish. I will say that likely Voodoo is going to go last in the bunch, though, as he's
I was
busy.
gonna offer to go last.
Yeah. And don't forget, Scott, you do have disadvantage on whatever your next ability check is as you overcome your space sickness. So either Jeff or Craig can go first.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Perfect, will do. So mechanically speaking, how far away are these mech that have just landed?
So they are far from you at this moment.
Perfect.
And there are three of them.
Never stopped me before. So Phantom Alpha will, similarly to the way that it had just moved across the gap, will then see these mech land and will similarly once again activate jump jets. With a 12 under my presence, will succeed on my Geist system. So again, it's almost like spectral super light speed movement as the mech will just like leap forward through space as if like tunneling through it rather than like moving across it.
That's so neat.
Before appearing in front of whichever first of these mecha is there. And
yeah.
Melee attacks in this system are power?
Correct. Yep.
All right. And if it's okay with you, Matt, I've pre-gamed my divert power a little bit already.
Yes, absolutely.
Like initiative.
Yeah, you kind of like swapped them. Yep.
Yeah. So the like hands of Phantom Alpha will begin to like glow with this super heated energy, creating these almost like energy claw-like things that'll come across its hands before it'll just like reach the hand forward just to grab and with a 10, which is under my power of 13, I will hit.
Great.
And I'm really pushing this divert power. So I have a D12 right now damage as I pumped it all. I pumped my whole reactor into it basically.
Listen, if anyone's gonna break the Vanguard chassis, it's gonna be Jeff.
I'm going all in.
Okay. 800
so
damage.
Close. So this mech is gonna take 12 damage, and I have 10. Sorry, 10 damage.
Okay.
But I have plasma as my weapon type, so if this thing has armor, it cannot use that armor. So I imagine this mech will like bring up its arms or shields or whatever it has to defend itself, and this like energy claw hand of Phantom Alpha will just like melt through it.
Yeah.
With no issue. Its defense is useless. Kira is specifically going to be going for disabling strikes on
Okay.
these mech, trying not to kill the pilots inside. Hoping, but the damage should be sufficient to deal some pretty good damage to the actual structure of the mech.
Yeah.
As these like laser claws will just like sear through it, like a ghost, like ripping through flesh and armor. Can't do anything to stop it.
Yeah, each of these Veriform mecha, they have these sort of machine guns that they pulled from the like inner carapace of their frames. But as you kind of teleported across, this mech like very quickly like reached back, and one of the wings that was the wing of the interceptor like mag locks to its arm, and it brings it forward to use it kind of as like a blade and a shield. But just as it brings it up, your claw just cuts right through it, and it leaves this like molten hole in the width of the blade. Cool. Anything else on your turn there, Phantom?
That's a use and an attack, so I think I'm
Cool.
spent.
Yep, 2 actions. All right, so Vulcan, you get to go next.
Yeah. So, is it an action to change weapons? I believe. I did say I was toting around an axe.
I will. I'll say as part of your initiative, you could have swapped to a weapon that made sense.
Okay.
So I'll allow you to not have to use an action to switch to a ranged weapon if you'd like.
All right, cool. So from underneath the layers of armor and bulk of this suit, small arms assemble two halves of a large bazooka-type weapon.
Ooh, yeah.
That he kind of removes from these kind of armor bands on his back and kind of shoulders in that direction. They are far range, you said?
They are, yes.
Okay, cool. So we're going to overclock this bazooka.
Buster rifle,
So-
baby.
Yeah. I'm imagining that kind of endless waltz Tall Geese 3 type.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
that's the coolest weapon. I just watched that the other day, and that part is so
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Okay, cool. So that's a 2 on the reactor die, so I'm fine.
Great.
And then I'm going to take a shot at one of the undamaged mecha, because I would know that Kira's trying not to kill people.
Very considerate of you.
I'm considerate of my teammates. I know everybody. So let's have a shot. That is a 13, so that's a success. And that's going to be... That is going to hurt tremendously. That's 12 also.
12. Okay. So, what does that look like? Go ahead and describe the rifle fire or the bazooka firing.
I imagine there's kind of a like a mechanical spooling up noise as this weapon overclocks itself. That kind of, and then it's like a bolt of lightning. There's a flash. There's a massive sort of discharge of sort of bright yellow energy in that general direction. Just annihilates.
Did you say you rolled a 2 on your reactor die?
Yes.
So that technically downgrades it. It's a 1 or a 2.
It's a...
because
I'm a vet.
you are a vet.
I'm a vet.
So, yep.
Yep.
That's cool. Okay,
That's
awesome.
The vet ability saving me there.
Yes. Which is, the vet ability is called Too Old for This Shit. I just want to throw that out there.
Old for
Yeah.
this shit.
My reactor die does not downgrade on a 2 because I'm too old for this shit.
No.
Awesome. Okay, so the beam just kind of flies past, and I imagine, like, Phantom, you're accustomed to this weapon going off, so you know to kind of, like, dodge out of the way as this huge beam just comes careening past, and it clips one of these mecha, and you just see its arm just dissolve. It does that, like, anime, like, melt effect, where it just, like, turns into liquid and goes away. And this mech kind of, like, spins with, like, smoke and sparks spewing from the lost limb. Voodoo, you're up.
So, quick point of clarification. The
Yeah.
reckless attack, is that like an action I have to take, or is that just like a secondary action if I get a success?
Remind me what the text says.
It's the Maverick ability. It says sacrifice 2 AP. Well, let me pull it up for us. Okay.
Oh, it's where you can get rid of armor points to
Make
do
a
additional
successful-
damage.
Yeah, right.
It is not an
Yeah,
action. It's
okay,
it's just a thing you can do. Yeah.
Just want to make sure so I used my actions properly and didn't,
For sure, I appreciate that. I'm trying to be
or
efficient with
giving
my
myself
actions.
a third action,
Right. Yeah.
All right, so like I sort of so Slapshot is inside. He sort of rotates his controls, as they do in all the things. Pull it out for some reason. There's an out function. So pulling out on the joystick and things like that to get the mecha under control. Realizes that there are these enemies in front of us, but they are too far to get to. I don't have jump jets. I can't just manifest wherever I want based on this crazy technology of Phantom. So I'm gonna have to just pull the gun and take a blast. I'm going to sort of assume that I can kind of let go of my axe and it'll sort of float.
It'll sort of float there, and you can go back and get it. Yeah.
Go back and get it. Yeah.
Yep.
So then I'll go ahead and shoot that with a disadvantage.
Yes. Thank you for remembering.
Yeah. And so yeah, I'm just gonna assume that I had to take an action to get the gun because I was so out of control and everything. But that's fine. I don't want to do anything with the other one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and shoot. And oh yeah, hey, I got a 9 and a 12, so that works out either way. I get it either way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and give me some damage.
All right. So then using this Maverick ability, I'm gonna sacrifice 2 of my armor and write that down.
Yep. And I am imagining that as like the Wing Zero situation where the gun is so hot that it literally melts armor off of the mecha.
Or the Akira thing where it hits and then like everything just sort of bubbles and then explodes. Right?
Yep. Yes. Yeah. Oh, so good.
That is 10 damage.
10 damage. And do you
want
to
the undamaged mechs.
One of the undamaged ones. Okay, cool. So all 3 of these Veriform mecha have now sustained damage. All 3 of them are still functional, but they've taken heavy damage. So what does that look like as you fire this rifle, Voodoo?
So it's just like a normal. It's not as cool of a rifle as the one that I can't remember the Craig's characters.
Vulcan. Vulcan.
Vulcan. Thank you. So it's not as cool as Vulcan's. It's just a standard blaster, but there's like a heat up right in front of the muzzle of the gun, just kind of, and then and this beam flies through space past the Phantom and then just strikes the leg, blowing it off into pieces. There's like a lookalike orange explosion for some reason.
Yes. Yeah.
And the leg is just gone.
Awesome.
Of this mech.
Great. Okay. Awesome. All right. All 3 of these Veriform mecha are going to take some attacks here. So the one in front of you, Phantom, it yanks this wing blade free of your Molten Claw and is going to kind of swing it up under you. So go ahead and give me a mobility test if you would, please.
I won't actually. I'm going to give you a presence test instead. I'm going to use my Pariah ability. Strange Empathy. Once per moment, you can choose to roll presence instead of mobility to avoid damage. I believe even attacks count as avoiding damage.
Yes, absolutely.
I have rolled already. I was expecting to be attacked, and I did pass my presence because my presence is really good. So I imagine if it's okay if I can take some liberty with this.
Yeah.
This like strange aura that Phantom exudes. This mech, as it goes to attack, it won't even actually make it to the attack to strike. It'll like bring it back, and then just like this strange wave of like emotional disruption will like wash over it, and this like strange like connection will form between Kira inside of Phantom and with this person, and they'll like understand each other in a different way, not as enemies but as like common people with common needs and interests and emotions, and this like strange random unexpected like psychic human connection will throw this mech off and like give them pause and hesitation as he wonders if he should even bother attacking.
Awesome. Yeah, and you sense this through this like momentary link that you share. You just sense this like fear, like mostly fear, coming from this pilot as they're sort of attacking, because this completely experimental mecha just teleported in front of them and is digging into them with molten claws. So you do sense this intense fear. The other two mecha, their shoulders kind of, and you just see these banks of missiles, and all of these missiles come firing out, and there's just dozens of them that all come careening out and going in all directions. So I need everyone except for Phantom to give me a system test to try and basically avoid all of these missiles. There's too many to dodge. You have to kind of track all of them. And anyone who fails is going to be taking 4 damage.
Yeah, so
success.
Saber Eon, he sees him coming and he starts to spin and turn, forgetting that he's in 0G as he kind of lifts off one of his feet and drifts his mech right up into the direct path completely. I rolled a 20.
Okay.
Oh no.
All right. So that's critical damage, Saber Eon. So
Yeah.
please give me a system test if you would.
Man. Whew, I'm okay on the system test. I
Okay,
passed
good.
by 1.
So go ahead and describe what happens as these missiles strike your mech and you almost have a hull breach that happens, but you manage to get it under control. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I think, as he kind of suddenly lifts off and he floats up right in the path of like a huge, kaleidoscope, rush of these things. At that last moment, as they're just about to hit the cockpit, shattering that glass, he barely gets an arm up as they kind of blow through all of that. And I think the shield that he had strapped in there gets completely obliterated, as I'm going to take 2 of that damage to my shield armor points.
Okay, cool. And
that I think kind of blows him back, kind of collides into the ruins and slides a little bit, kind of just breathing heavy. Nope, I'm all right. I'm all right. Oh.
so with the critical damage, that'll be 8 damage rather than 4 to you, Saber Eon. And it is actually your turn now. So let's see if you can recover here and do something.
Yeah, and I think, as he's laying there, he kind of gives himself a check out real quick. Everything's still in one place. Hands on those controls as he lifts up, takes a move action to, just move, one range band closer to get into, hopefully should be near within
Near with
Phantom,
them.
who's all the way up front.
Yep.
And he's actually going to flip a couple switches, and his reactor kind of, and this energy transfer, kind of rips across space to reinforce Phantom, who's right up front with everybody. So that is going to give you a D6 that you can roll to subtract from an attack test or from an avoid damage test. And I got to roll my reactor on that. Okay. 7.
Cool.
Reactor is good.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's Bard die.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It just subtracts from the roll instead of adding to it. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we're back at the top of the initiative. So Phantom, Vulcan, and Voodoo, y'all can go in whatever order you choose, but these 3 Veriform Mecha are all transformed, and all of them are still functioning, though all of them have taken some pretty heavy damage. So go in whatever order you wish.
I can just go again.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Phantom, seeing this mech in front of him pause as this empathetic link has been formed between them, will move again, trying to disable this mech rather than destroy it, to strike at it. But Kira inside the mech will have a moment of pause too, as they wonder whether or not they should even be engaging in this fight. The link affecting both of them, because my first roll is going to be a 19, so I will not hit. But I will use a second attack. I have already rolled both a presence instead of my reactor and a second attack roll, and the second one will hit.
Great.
for 11 damage.
Oh my god.
Which again cannot be reduced by armor.
Yes. Okay, so go ahead and describe as what it looks like as you take this mech out. Again, not trying to destroy it completely, but just disable it and take it out of the fight.
Yeah, the strikes are very careful and calculated. And as this opponent like almost has hesitated from the attack, the link will like continue to strengthen. Kira from inside Phantom Alpha will overcome the link to continue to advance to ensure that his friends are not destroyed. But the two arms of the mech will like come forward to the shoulder joints of this like mech that's been like frozen in fear, and will just like with the plasma jets on its hands just like melt through the arms and then through parts of the legs as well. And again, where like the engines and the guns might fire from this thing. So the pilot is basically just going to be like encased in like a metal cylinder of the mech's primary form where they sit in, but there will be basically no accessories other than its comms to be able to move and act forward.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it basically just drifts away from you completely sort of dark as all the like running lights just like flicker off and stuff as it's drifting through space. Very cool. Okay, anything else on your turn? That was 2 attacks, yeah?
Yep, that was 2 moves. So
okay, so Vulcan and Voodoo, whoever wants to go.
I'm fine going in the same order as before.
So okay, cool. Yeah, we'll just go Phantom, Vulcan, Voodoo. So Vulcan, you're up.
Vulcan, seeing that the battle has started, is proper. Starts chaotically flipping switches, pulling levers, all the fun stuff inside of his cockpit, and the 2 people that he's flown with before would probably have seen this happen previously, as the armor plates and the big heavy sheets start to reassemble themselves, sort of coming off, folding around, reassembling. The legs fold up underneath, form together, large thrusters start appearing from underneath flaps of armor. The core starts to heat up. You can kind of see a deep glow from within the body of the mech as he activates battle mode and changes into his high-speed Terraform.
Oh, man.
Let's roll all the reactor die.
Yeah, no kidding.
Real quick, as your reactor starts spooling up to run, kind of Tesla coil style, electricity arcs, and with my chassis ability, core override, because you're still in near, I'm kind of in the middle of everybody. I'll take a reactor roll for you there.
Nice.
Off of my big supercharged one.
Okay, cool. I'm good for mine. You roll yours.
Yep, we're good. I rolled a 4.
He's gone full mobile armor mode. Kind of, there's still arms, kind of like a Noinzeal looking, just monstrosity.
Awesome. I love that. Very cool.
And next turn, somebody's going to eat some serious.
Yeah, hopefully there are some enemies left for you to. I'm gonna have to like add in some more enemies because I want to see what you're gonna do. Okay, cool. Voodoo.
So the very first thing that happens is almost involuntarily a nano shroud sort of goes out of the mech and starts repairing the armor points that are used to do my Maverick attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go ahead and roll the reactor die and also a D4 along with that to see what happens. Because my reactor may like overheat in this process.
Mm-hmm.
But nope, I'm fine. And I only gain back 1 of my lost armor points. And then I'm gonna take a shot at the same guy I shot at before, because that was the whole plan. Like I was like not doing anything. Like Slapshot was just keeping the thing on there with the nano things. The cloud sort of worked its way to try to repair the armor.
Right.
You know, like I imagine like piece. For whatever reason, I'm trying to imagine how he lost armor points. I think just pieces of the mech popped off. Yeah. But in this shot,
I was gonna say real quick. This might be a little out of character. So that core override, I didn't see any limitations other than range on how often I can actually do that.
Yeah, you can do it as many times as you want.
So I was gonna say, like, Scott or Voodoo, same thing. Like that kind of Tesla coil energy spools back over to my overcharged reactor and takes place of that for you.
Okay.
mean,
No, it's fun. It's the reason why I
Yeah.
have a super reactor, so I could do that more often. Yeah. It's,
oh, right. Well, I can let you do it even more.
Yeah,
I've
now
got a
that I'm hanging out
I've
with
got a
you.
D10 reactor.
Who needs a reactor? Just let you go ahead and power soul them.
All right, everyone plug. We all have plugs. Everyone plug into Saber Eon extension cables across space.
So as this like arc of electricity is hitting, I make my shot to hit the mech that I was aiming at, and I'm gonna of course use the armor points that I was using before, because that's how I do, and I will only cause 10 damage again.
Okay, same one you shot last time, yeah?
Same one I shot last time, yeah.
Okay, that will take it out, so go ahead and describe what that looks like.
The blast this time is more on target, nails the Veriform mech in the chest, and it just sort of, unlike this previous attempt to keep people alive, this is like targeted right toward where the pilot sits, and just blast through. And on the backside, there's like the arc that comes out the back from the blast, and then
Ooh,
the whole
yeah.
thing just busts apart as it falls. It sort of flies backwards and just busts into pieces. In like many little explosions, because the reactor then also explodes.
Yeah,
From its explosion.
killer. Awesome. Okay. All right. So there's one Veriform mecha remaining, and it is within close range of Phantom Alpha. It transforms. You see it kind of tucks in, and it kind of folds up, and it becomes an interceptor again, albeit with a little bit of its thrusters missing from the damage that it's taken. And it's going to try and basically dart away from you. So, Phantom, you're going to get an opportunity attack against it to try and stop it from escaping.
Oh, that was the. I just remembered that I got my handy D6. That was a 17 on the die, but I'm gonna hope this D6 does not roll too low here.
Yeah.
It is still not going to be enough.
So
That'll bring me down to a 14, which is still not below my power. But I think too distracted from perhaps the careful strike to ensure the safety of the previous pilot, Phantom Alpha is still like not fully engaged in the battle, and will see this thing transform and boost away too late.
yeah, it hits the NOS, so to speak, and you just see this like flash from its engines, and it's just gone. It just careening back toward the convoy. You know it's going to be broadcasting on all channels to tell its allies what is happening, and so you know that you are time is short before reinforcements arrive. So we're out of initiative now. Vulcan Crusader, I'm sorry you didn't get to do your thing, but you're still in your mode here, so you can do whatever you want with that.
Flip battle mode off. No reason to have that, but I'll stay transformed.
Okay, cool. The radar installation still in the distance. You've got some more ground, so to speak, to cover. How do y'all want to move? Do you want to kind of do the same thing as last time, where everyone's near within each other, or do you want to change it up?
I think staying within near, like the same kind of spread group move is probably good.
Okay, cool.
I imagine at this
and if
point the delicacy of stealth is probably dropped.
Yeah.
Given that we're definitely known.
Yeah,
So
you're being
moving much
actively
faster,
tracked
but
now.
I think fanning
Yep.
a similar formation.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I just,
While
we
that
can
may
get
be
this
what
done.
you guys agree with, Voodoo Slap Shot will immediately break and start rushing toward the radar station. Stealth not being a factor anymore.
Yeah. Yep. Everyone open up. Let's go over there. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
no, cool. Thrusters to max. Let's go for it.
Also, if I can, like, I don't know time-wise how long it's going to take to get over there. I think Saber would definitely try to, charge up his reactor to reinforce, as many people as he can, throw those D6s over.
Yeah, everyone can have 1d6 at a time, so you can do that
Yep.
3 times as you move out here.
Okay, cool. So I just got to do 3 reactor rolls then.
Correct. Yep.
And having that D10, I tell you, So money. 6, 8, and a 9. We are good.
Damn,
Still a
awesome.
D10.
All right, so everyone has a D6 reinforced die that they can roll to subtract from an attack test or a dodge test. So you all kind of like open it up, pedal to the floor, trying to get to this radar installation as quickly as possible. Is that right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Leaping off of random pieces of debris, you know, spinning and doing things while in the process.
yeah, yep. Do it. You see thrusters to like maneuver through this debris, this shattered hulk that you're moving through. You see in the distance this kind of glow that starts to emanate from the blockade, and each of you gets a beep 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 incoming fire klaxon on your HUD. I need everyone to give me either a mobility test or a presence test, and I'm gonna roll some damage here.
Just gonna use that D6.
It's probably a good time for it.
I will
safe.
well pass under a presence check.
Okay,
I got
All right.
that one.
so everyone
This
succeeded.
This
Okay.
time he was ready for it as he kind of just tumbled and ran.
Yeah. So there is an artillery barrage of sorts from these cruisers that kind of adjust position to start firing on the debris field that you're moving through. And so as you are thrusting and like kicking off these pieces of debris to try and get to this radar installation, artillery starts going off all around you, just as these like arcing plasma shots come firing towards you from the blockade. All of you manage to avoid any serious damage though, and I imagine you even like are flying through the explosions as they're going off, and just the bits of debris and sparks and stuff are kind of plinking off of the heavy armor on your mecha. So you move through the debris field quickly with this artillery fire. You see that there are more interceptors that are coming to fly towards you, but you are getting to the radar installation before they arrive. So you see this radar installation in front of you. It's at far distance right now. It's kind of semicircular. There are a bunch of like dishes and antennae that are kind of sticking out both the top and bottom of it. And you see that there are mecha kind of standing on this ring encircling it, almost like the battlements of a castle, and they're all kind of standing there getting ready, likely having been warned at your coming. And you see that there are turrets as well that kind of swivel and lock onto all of you. So let's roll some initiative again. Battle mode, do it. I'll allow you, since you didn't get to do any damage last time, you get to start the fight in battle mode. You don't even have to use an action to do it.
Hell yeah.
All right.
That's
Cool.
a pass for initiative.
Okay. Looks like everyone's passing so far. Oh, man. Listen, if you're going to roll poorly, I feel like initiative is what you want to roll poorly on. If
Right.
only I could reinforce myself.
Right. I mean, I probably could. It just
Yeah.
seems cooler to reinforce others.
For sure. Okay, cool. So if we want to just stick with the same initiative order as last time, Phantom, you can go first if you want to. So at far distance, you see this radar installation. There are mecha on top of it, as well as sentry guns, and there are interceptors that are coming, but they're not here yet. You've got a few rounds before they arrive.
Now, just to let you guys know about the psyche of Voodoo Slapshot, while he does want to be first and show off how cool he is, Phantom Alpha's whole like I'm just gonna manifest over here thing, that's just too impressive to like try to beat out.
It's just too rad. You can't out. You can't out.
I'm gonna let him ghost all over the place. This is what
Yeah.
he does.
And ghost all over the place, they will. So I've rolled my presence check to use my Geist system instead of my reactor die, which I would have failed except for the handy D6, which will get me under my presence. So that'll be a
Nice.
pass, as the jump jets will again warp him through space. There's a flash as Phantom Alpha will no longer be where it is now, but instead next to whichever one of these turrets is within far range. And seeing that as the biggest threat, we'll try to hopefully remove one from service.
Okay.
Which I've also rolled. I got a 5, which will be well under my power, for 9 damage, which will pierce through armor as the plasma claws will re-engage, and we'll just start shoving mech hands into this turret, trying to get it offline. Hopefully just melt right through it.
Great. You absolutely disable one of the turrets, and it's one of these things where, like, you move to it, like, get your claw in, rip it out, and then move away, and then it blows up. Like, it blows up, like, after you move away from it. It has that, like, delayed explosion thing that always happens in anime. Very cool. Okay, Vulcan, you're up.
Yeah, yes, thrusters to max as soon as I see Phantom take off in a direction, and the turret that he targeted didn't explode immediately. With unnatural speed for the immensity of his mech, appears sort of over the shoulder of Phantom, brandishing the large chain blade.
Awesome.
And I'm just gonna reap it, just one big slash with the chain blade right across this turret.
Killer.
So that is well under my power. And I'm going to roll my reactor die to use the chain blade ability and deal my damage twice, for a total of...
I suck up your reactor roll.
Oh, okay. That's a total of 18.
Shoo. Yep. That'll take out the turret.
And are there any other enemies in close or near range?
There are several within close and near range. There are other turrets as well as Mecha that haven't quite reacted to Phantom's surprise attack on them.
Oh no, you took my reactor roll. That's not good, man. So actually, this leaves me a question. So the chassis ability for kinetic reactor, if he uses his reactor, then that won't trigger the kinetic reactor.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess if you don't want me to...
No, that's
Cipher
fine.
that reactor roll,
We'll
like-
take it. We'll take it for this one.
I was going to say, let me know and I will not.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, because the
Get
Colossus
level 2
can deal
reactor
damage
damage.
with its reactor. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the stressing of the reactor just makes a pulse of
Yeah.
death. So,
Gotcha,
yeah, cool.
gotcha.
It's my
My
bad.
bad.
It's fine. It's fine. You didn't know. I forgot. You didn't know.
All right, cool. And you're also technically in Veriform mode, right, Vulcan?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure because you were able to move there with your
to
Veriform speed.
safety.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All right.
With a normal mobility roll. So.
Yep. Voodoo, you're up.
So Voodoo is going to move in toward the group of mechs and turrets, but not moving quite as quick as Manifester and in beast mode kind of two mechs. Instead, what's going to happen in almost like frustration, Voodoo Snapshot's mouth will suddenly just open and a roar will emanate from it. But that roar becomes a wave of, like a blast of energy that comes out and just hits the nearest turret. So let me go ahead and roll to see if I actually hit or if I completely miss. Oh yeah, nailed it. That was a 6, so that totally hits. And so this blast of energy just goes. And then so I'm gonna roll my D12 if I can find it. For 10 damage.
Another turret goes down.
So it sounds like a roar. It's like a voice, like a roar, but it like blows things away in the process.
That's amazing. He is Muad'Dib, yep. All right, anything else on your turn, Slapshot?
No, so that was it, because I had to, that was a movement toward
Move,
them,
and then your Maw Beam. Okay, cool. Very cool.
I
You
think
know,
I
at one
showed
point,
the
we
gold
cut the
reactor.
Maw Beam off of the hybrid, and then we added it back in because it was too cool.
I do have to, yeah, I do have to roll a reactor dice. Let me, actually, Joe, are you gonna roll that for me? Yeah, Joe's gonna take that for me. And so Joe will
I
take
gotta
that.
roll my reactor. Joe, you do it.
All right, cool.
I was just talking to Gwen in the group about how the auxiliary could just become a mobile power plant, and that's exactly how you're playing it, Joe, so I love it.
Yep.
Okay.
That was totally the plan. Keep
Yeah.
all of the heavy hitters hitting heavy.
It's so dope. Yeah, that's great. Okay. So I need everybody. I need everybody to make a mobility test, please.
This is to avoid damage.
It is to avoid damage. Thank you for asking.
All right. I am going to swap mine for a present.
Go for it.
That I will.
Plus this. Oof.
Got a really
Okay.
bad thing to tell everybody.
That's a fail for me.
I've got
So-
some bad
so while-
news.
While some people might have failed, I failed the worst as I rolled a 20.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, all of these turrets, they're swiveling, and I imagine they're firing at you the whole time that this fight is going on. But the shots are just like plinking against your armor, and you're otherwise dodging them. But as the fight kind of progresses, all of these sentry guns kind of like lift up and reveal these missile tubes that are sort of stored underneath, and all of them pop off, and all of these missiles come firing out. Anyone who failed takes 9 damage. Slapshot, you're going to take 18 damage because you take that critical damage, and I need you to make a system test to make sure your cockpit doesn't pop open.
Well, I mean, that's all fine. I'll make a system test, but that is well above both my hit points and my armor. Like, well above. Okay, and I rolled a 1 on the system test, so... I don't know what that means. Like, am I ejected
that's
into
good.
space? I'm not sure what's happening right
Gonna
now.
reduce that by 4.
Okay, so that did drop you to 0 hit points, though. That's
Yep.
right,
Oh
Slapshot?
yeah, I only
Okay.
had 14 hit points and 2 armor points. So
Okay, all right. So you're disabled. Go ahead and roll a d8 if you would.
I rolled a 1.
Your sensors are fried. You have disadvantage on system tests, and we're gonna try out some new rules on your next turn here to try and get your mecha back online from being disabled. But for now, everything cuts out as you take this damage, and you barely are able to avoid getting blasted into open space from this cockpit. So, what does that look like, Slapshot? Go ahead and describe like what is happening in the cockpit as you sustain this incredible amount of damage.
So all of the visual sensors sort of shut down, and so I'm just sort of in the interior space. Unlike everyone else, I don't have a visual way to look through. I think Pariah's probably the only one that's with me. There's no like screen to look through, so all of my digital connections are gone, and I'm just in this like metal space by myself. And it's just everything is dark, and there's basically just the from my own breathing, and that's the only thing I can hear inside of this case.
Very cool. Okay, awesome. All right, so that was the sentry guns. The there's 4 mecha here on the station. And I need Vulcan and Phantom to give me mobility tests, please, to avoid damage.
Alright, I have
well
already
done.
used my one free presence check.
Yeah.
So that'll be normal, and I will fail this one.
Okay. So,
Alright.
you're good, Craig?
All
Okay. So Phantom, 6 damage coming at you as these mecha kind of, they bring up their shields and they all have these machine guns and they just start kind of, there's 3 of them that are firing at you, and this sort of incredible fire arc starts happening and pieces of your armor start blowing off as they actually start doing damage to you with these rounds. All right. And the last thing is there is a rumbling that happens in the radar installation. And then this hangar opens up on the top side of it, and you see this massive shape silhouetted by like floodlights that are coming out of this hangar. And you see like, you know, dust and debris kind of fly out of the hangar as it is vented into space. And as this shape moves forward, you see that it is this massive mecha with these like incredibly like these pauldrons that almost look like it's wearing like a cloak of armor. These pauldrons kind of extend all the way down. And as it drifts into open space, these pauldrons kind of unfurl and create this insane looking silhouette as it floats towards you. None of you have ever seen a mecha like this, but it's clearly being dispatched to deal with you. So it's not going to attack or anything this round, but it is there for you to have to deal with. So we're now over to Saber Eon. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, watching Voodoo go down, you know, Saber Eon just kind of, you know, at a sprint, taking a couple planks from those mini missiles or those rockets that kind of launched out. He comes in and slides down on the knees up next to him and pulls out those repair nanites for use action and slaps those down. So they start kind of knitting some of the flesh and metal back together. So that is going to give you a heal for D4 plus 1, which is not a whole lot, but it's something. It looks like 3 total hit points. And then kind of standing over him protectively, second use action, so I'm going to have to roll reactor on that, using my pilot ability, inspiring speech. He says, "Come on, man. I thought you were supposed to be some kind of hot shot pilot or something. Get on your feet and show us some stuff." So that's going to give him a advantage on any tests of his choice before my next turn.
Great. Awesome.
And I got to do a reactor roll for 2 use actions.
Yes.
Is it technically the same?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're so good.
I'm just waiting
love
for
that
that reactor to downgrade, man. I'm just waiting for it. So, Slapshot, I imagine the digital readouts kind of click back on.
Stuff starts coming on, like some of it's like shaky camera footage or like, you know, lines, like it's not quite all the way back together.
Yeah, but you're
right in that field of view is this clunky, you know, construction looking mech. The thrum of the reactor kind of comes into your ears all of a sudden.
As I can now hear again, like, oh, sound, that's good. That's a good sign.
All right.
Yeah. So that's just the relief of, you know, coming back online, because the last thing you want is to be disabled inside of your mech. And
in space. Yeah.
in space.
Yeah.
Not a good situation.
Not a good situation to be in. Okay, we're back at the top of the initiative now. So, Phantom, you're up. So, the turrets, there's still a couple left, but they're definitely less of a clear and present threat. There are some mecha that are kind of firing on you with these submachine guns, and then there's this large mech that has just disembarked from the hangar of the radar installation. What would you like to do?
Can I get like a quick check on range bands on where these?
Yeah, so you are close with all of the sentry guns and the enemy mecha. You are near to the one that just came out of the hangar.
Perfect. So Phantom will move as like this missile barrage soars past them. It's as if they weren't even targeting Phantom Alpha with this blast. Is like the presence instead of the mobility. Just like for some reason, just none of the missiles even went towards them. And Phantom will move towards one of the nearest Mecha before reaching towards them with similar plasma claws, trying to take one out with a successful attack. Will be 8 plasma damage, so ignoring all armor, on the mech. And then they will turn their attention towards this huge hulking mech that has now arrived. This threat has just been deployed. And will hold out a hand where like part of the hand will like open, spiral open. Will this just be this like blast of this object that'll fly out before it'll explode in this net of lightning, which will like soar over this new threat that's arrived. I've succeeded on a power test, and this is me using one of my arc grenades.
Oh, cool.
So it'll take 4. It'll take 4 damage, and it will skip its next turn.
Oh man!
Will disable this new threat that's arrived before it can join the fray. Hopefully, giving us time to pick off the enemies.
Oh, you rock!
Goes
Very
too
cool.
crazy on us.
Yeah, there's like this this energy that is just like cascading across the outer hull of this mecha, and you can see the optics that make up its like eyes are like flickering as it's kind of drifting with no control over its movements. Very cool. Okay, Vulcan, you are up.
Options. How this new mech? What size is it compared to the Colossus? That is...
So it's bigger than all of the other mechs, and not quite as big as Vulcan.
Okay, so I've still got some size on it.
You got a little heft on it, yeah. You got some poundage on it, yeah.
He looks disabled. I'm going to leave him alone. I'm just going to start swinging at anything in near range to me.
Okay, yeah, there are turrets and mecha. Which do you want to kind of prioritize?
We're going for the mecha.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, you're going down. Down. So, first one that's well under my power for so far that is 11. I'm going to go for the chain blade. I'm successful, so 22 for the first one.
Damn. Yep.
Yeah, just in half chain blade, if that's enough to take it out.
Oh yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, just directly in half with the chain blade. And just spinning right around to the next one. Gonna roll the reactor die because I'm going to attack again. I'm fine. Next attack. Only just barely under my power. Just barely. 4... only 8 this time.
Damage. Okay. That is enough to take out both of the last mecha that are standing on this radar station, though. What does it look like as you take out both of them?
It's just 2 giant swings of this massive chain blade that I imagine is just as large, or maybe slightly larger than the 2 mech that I am bisecting. Just throwing superheated bits of twisted metal into the air, swinging the sort of 2 halves off into the distance. And as I kind of finish and turn my attention to the large mech, I'm going to say, "Sorry, Phantom. I know you don't like to make any kills, but we've got a job to do."
All right. That brings us to Voodoo. You're back up with scant few hit points, but you're alive.
Yeah, and to clarify, I could attack twice, right? I just have to make a reactor roll.
Correct. Yep.
And there are 2 remaining turrets.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Jumping up with axe in hand, Voodoo's going to react by almost like he's angry, like the mech is angry more than the pilot's angry.
Mm-hmm.
And just launch at these turrets, and I'm gonna make 2 attacks, if that's cool.
Oh yeah.
I have advantage, I heard. That's the thing that
Yes, you do, yeah, because of the Quipster ability.
Yep, and apparently you can use on any of the tests you make before my next turn. Like it doesn't
cool.
specify like on your next one.
So it's not
So-
one. I could do it on both. Is what we're saying.
Just on one task.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
but it
that's
doesn't
really good.
specify.
Yeah, you can do it on
your
either
next task.
attack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Nope. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go ahead and do it now. That's a success. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it. I'm not going to do the special thing. I'm just gonna hit it with the damage that I do, which is only 6. The first. So I'm gonna hit one, and then I'm gonna swing at the other one. I don't care if I've destroyed it or not.
How much damage?
6.
6. Okay,
I feel like that's not enough, but
not quite enough.
yeah. So, and then we'll go ahead and roll this one.
Actually,
Yeah,
though,
that
you
one-
did manage to take it out though, because I'm using a swarm die with these guys to track their HP, and I just rolled a 1 on the swarm die, so you actually destroyed that one.
Okay, cool. The second one also hits, so let me roll that damage. That damage is 9.
That is enough to take it out.
Yeah, okay. So yes, in the angry motion as Voodoo leaps back up, just almost like the pilot's not in control, but the mech is swinging wildly, takes out both of these turrets that shot at it before,
Awesome.
and then stands. There's almost again like it's about to roar, but it doesn't actually.
Right.
Slapshot keeps it under control.
Very cool. Okay, so the mecha and the turrets are all destroyed or disabled, but this other one remains, though it is floating, unable to take a turn thanks to that arc grenade that Phantom threw out. But you do hear, "Toof, toof, 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 toof." I need everyone to do mobility or presence as another artillery barrage from the blockade comes towards you.
That's a fail.
Here's my...
But thankfully, I'm in battle mode.
So I passed, but I also only have 3 hit points. So I mean, we're talking like this may happen again.
So anyone who failed, or it looks like everyone passed, yeah?
Oh, I failed.
Passed as well.
Oh, Craig failed. Okay, so that's going to be 4 damage towards you,
That's
Vulcan.
going to be no damage towards me.
Why is that?
Battle mode, I reduce incoming damage by d4.
That's right. Good old battle mode. Okay.
Yeah.
So this artillery barrage comes in. Everyone else like dodges out of the way and avoids it, but you are hit, but you don't take any damage. So what does that look like, Vulcan?
He just doesn't care. He takes it. There's explosions. There's probably bits of metal that fly off the body, but he just keeps going. Doesn't care. The armor's thick.
Awesome.
I imagine it seems like in every Gundam where there's the episode or something where there's like an explosion, and then when the smoke clears, the Gundam is still standing there.
Yeah,
There's
just
there's
completely
There's a
unscathed.
couple scratches.
Yeah.
Scratches.
Yep. Awesome.
The paint is chipped.
I was literally typing that in the chat as you said it, Scott. That's exactly the picture I had in my mind.
Oh, man,
That's awesome.
incredible. Okay, cool. All right, so that is Saber Eon again. We're back to you.
Yeah, and I think Saber Eon, now that everybody's up and moving, and if I'm not, or I'm pretty sure at this point the other enemy mechs and the turrets are gone, correct?
Yeah, they're all destroyed or disabled. It's just this one that's kind of floating there trying to get its power back online.
All right. Yeah, then I think with this heavy shotgun that he's got out, gonna use action to get that Buster Overclock, charging that thing up. And as he kind of starts moving forward, I'm gonna throw another reinforce. Use my reactor towards Phantom because I'm pretty sure he's going in there.
Cool.
So that's another D6 coming to you. And my reactor is actually down to a D8 now. I
It happened!
Oh,
I pulled
no.
the reactor roll for Voodoo. And I rolled 2,
It only took 19 reactor rolls before you downgraded.
right? And we're good. I just rolled an 8, so that's still going.
Cool. Okay, awesome.
Reactor's burning good. But yeah, he's just moving up, as this shotgun is charging.
Cool. Okay, awesome. All right. That brings us back to the top of the initiative. So, the radar installation itself, you know that one of you will have to land and disembark and try to take control of it from inside. So that is up to all of you to determine how you want to handle that. But the hangar is open from where this mecha disembarked. Phantom, you are up.
Yeah, Saber Eon knows his companion's style, knowing that he'll charge in soon, and Phantom Alpha will do exactly that. Seeing the power begins flicker back onto this large mech, knowing that time is limited, will charge forward using the move to get up next to it, and then try to sink some plasma claws into it, which I will successfully do for 9 plasma damage towards the thing, so it cannot use armor to avoid that.
Okay.
And Phantom will await this thing's soon reawakening.
Yes.
Will not die.
Okay, cool. Vulcan, you're up.
Vulcan moves over to melee with this new, the larger mech. It's a move action, and he reaches kind of behind him, the mech's hand, and he pulls out a cable, and he plugs it into the bottom of the chain blade. And there's a kind of like another mechanical spooling sound as the chain starts to run faster and faster and faster around the blade as he gets ready to strike on the next turn. So I'm overclocking the chain blade.
Oh, cool. That's neat. I didn't even think about doing that with a melee weapon. That's neat. Okay, cool. That brings us to Voodoo's turn.
And he takes the D4 damage because I just rolled max on my reactor die.
Oh my god, awesome. Okay, cool. What is that? What does that look like?
So he plugs in the cord, the charge up happens, and there's this kind of like discharge of energy. It's kind of like there's like a gear shift almost kind of effect as the reactor kicks into the next, like the higher cycle, and the burst of energy just singes the outside of the large mech.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. Voodoo, you're up.
So my sensors are blinking all kinds of like red warnings to me. There's, low everything's power, whatever issues that I have, Pinky's not functioning properly. Whatever the case is, the sensors are telling me on this mech. I can see that Phantom and Vulcan are all up in this mech's business. And I think about this whole thing that we have to do. And so Voodoo just starts rushing toward the hangar. And I'm going to go inside and slam the emergency eject pilot button, because I'm gonna have to get out and do this thing inside this radar base.
Awesome. Yeah, you disembark and you do the floating through space. Yep.
Yeah. Thing opens up and it just sort of opens, and I'm flying out with the almost with the momentum of the movement of the mech as it slid to a stop to open up its chest.
Yeah.
And I'm drifting.
I don't know why, but I just imagine this monstrous mecha kind of gripping the sides of the hangar and just getting letting you out of its chest as it's kind of hanging onto the hangar.
Right. With that thing that where its head tilts back and its mouth just opens, it's gonna roar.
Yep.
And I just whoosh out.
Very cool.
This
okay.
Weird umbilical juice, juice floating in space.
Yeah. Just real gross. Real gross. So you're floating toward this hangar, and you can see that the hangar itself, there's this catwalk that kind of encircles the hangar, and you can see there's an airlock there on the catwalk, and you're kind of floating toward it. But we will deal with that on your next turn. Okay. This mecha, this gigantic mecha that you're all fighting, it's kind of floating there, and it's dark as it's been kind of shut down. And then there's this moment where the eyes kind of go, beep, 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 and its head kind of lifts up, and there's static on the comms, and then you hear this feminine voice say, let's make this a fair fight. And the pauldrons kind of unfurl, almost blossoming like flower petals, and you see inside these tiny little spherical kind of drones that come popping out and begin floating all around and kind of surround all of you. The drones kind of and I need Phantom, Vulcan, and Saber to give me mobility tests to try and avoid some damage from these funnel drones.
It's a failure.
Okay.
It would have to be
Yeah,
mobility.
+2 to the rolls, by the way.
Oh gosh.
Scott's like, I'm not there.
So,
Volunteering is
important-
tribute out well.
important question for no reason. It's
Yeah.
only a critical if you roll a natural 20, right? Even if
Correct.
the roll gets pushed.
Yeah,
to 20?
it can't be a dirty 20. It's got to be a natty 20, yeah.
Okay, because I rolled a 19 on the die.
Oh, yeah, me
Okay,
too.
yeah. 21. I don't think you made it. So that's going to be 4 damage from these like almost like laser sight beams. Just go from the drones, and just from the look of them, it doesn't look like they would do any damage, but they just like hew through the armor. They're just like these super white hot beams of energy that just like cut through and just like shear off pieces of your armor as they do so. And at the same time as this is happening, this mech reaches in and kind of pulls out this sword that ignites in energy, and it's going to attack you, Phantom, so I will need another mobility test to avoid damage.
Don't forget that D6.
And don't forget that +2.
Don't think a D6 is gonna help me. I got a 15 and my mobility is a 9, so it'll put me at 17 actually. So 6 is not gonna do it no matter how much I roll. So I will.
So an
save it
additional
up.
3 damage as this beam saber just cuts across Phantom Alpha. All right. Saber Eon, you're up.
Yeah. So real quick, a little on the meta side. How are you two, Phantom and Vulcan, physically? How do your mechs look as Saber is, trundling around down beneath this thing's legs?
The beams from the funnel drones just refract harmlessly off Vulcan's armor, so he's fine.
Oh, I think that's a visual cue from. It looked like everything flashed red.
Yeah, disco ball everywhere. As the beams just have no effect.
Phantom's mech is definitely starting to show signs of damage. Not
Right,
like
distress.
critical damage. It's not on the verge of exploding, but it's definitely showing heavy wear at this point.
Okay. And I think certainly as Saber is kind of running around down beneath this thing's legs, thankfully not seen as a threat as all those drones came out. I mean, they probably didn't even notice his construction-looking mech amid all the debris on the ground, since none of them seemed to target him. Hey. He kind of runs through and pulls out that last pack of repair nanites he has and tosses them up. They kind of clink into to Phantom and kind of start stitching everything back together. Oh, that is a terrible roll. Two hit points. As it kind of like does a little bit of repair, and then he hoists that shotgun, which is now fully charged from last round, and attempts to target the weapon of this giant mech,
Ooh.
trying to like shoot that energy blade.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is going to be bad. So with that overclock, I have advantage, but because I'm a heavy weapon, I'm adding +2, and because of this giant mech, I'm adding another +2.
Yeah, +4 total.
And I got to make it 12. I got to make less than a 12 with a +4. Thank God for that advantage. Are you shitting me? I wish I could put a camera on this. I rolled double 11s. I mean, I totally missed, but damn, I wish I could show that. I got 2 11s sitting here. I should get my camera. Yeah, it's a this massive shot, like this discharge, blows off of this this heavy buckshot. And I think in this instance, Saber Eon was focusing too much, you know, between tossing that nano pack up and then just trying to beat in on this weapon. Between the giant mech moving it and the buck from this thing that he wasn't expecting, the shot just careened wide, you know, maybe kind of splitting the difference between Vulcan and Phantom. This bout of energy just kind of falls off into space.
And there's like a little bit that kind of like this funnel drone mecha like drops the pauldrons almost like a shield over itself, and you just see the shot just kind of ping, and then it like immediately unfurls it again as soon as it deflects that damage.
Good lord, that'll flatten a souffle. As he kind of keeps rushing around.
That'll flatten a souffle, he said. That's amazing. If we were using Zeta points, I would give you one, Joe, for that quip. The true quipster. Okay, so we're back up at the top of the initiative. Phantom, you are like currently tangling with this this funnel drone mecha, and like classic Gundam style, you both of you are just like arcs of light that just kind of keep clashing in the darkness of space as you're dueling each other. What do you want to do on your turn?
Yeah, Kira from within the mech, I think we'll have had this moment where they tried to do the same thing that they did to the previous enemies, which is like to form this empathetic link with them, prevent the fight from having to go to the death. But perhaps this pilot is more cruel-hearted than the other ones were, more sadistic in their
heart was 3 sizes
no
too small.
Yeah, so the link will completely fail, and Phantom Alpha's mech will be fairly damaged in the process, expecting them to put down their sword and instead taking it through their mech. So seeing that this person cannot be dissuaded from this course of action, we'll go into combat mode instead, making one attack first, which will pass for 9 damage, which will ignore armor.
Ooh, okay, yep.
And then I've rolled a presence check to avoid my reactor with the Geist system, which I will also pass by a lot.
Cool.
And then the second attack that I will make, I rolled an 11 on the die, which should give me a power of, under my power of 13, but adding 2 will put me
Oh, man, right on it.
The D6 will put me 1 under to 12. So
oh, my
I will
God.
exactly make another attack for 8 more plasma
Woo,
damage.
okay, very nice.
As Phantom Alpha will drop the previous mercy that they had for the enemies that they could dissuade from fighting. Seeing this one will not be convinced and will in fact kill them and their friends. Being much more aggressive with these claw attacks, just searing, leaving molten marks through this massive mech for 17 total.
Yeah, you do enough damage where there's like the outer sort of pauldron cloak of this thing is just incredibly damaged. You can see the wiring and stuff underneath, and there's this hiss like as they just eject it off of them, and the cloak just kind of comes apart. Ooh. And all of these plates come popping off and spinning out into space, and you see this kind of like sleek looking mecha underneath, and it again like has this beam saber, and it prepares to further defend itself. Vulcan, you're up.
As the steam from the ejection of the wings clears, Vulcan just appears right in its face, hands holding the chain blade overhead, both on, and I'm just gonna come down for the overhead swing with the chain blade.
Killer.
Okay, this has advantage. Oh, and I'm glad we had the advantage. Okay. All right. And that's okay. That is 12 so far. And that is 15. And reactor die for the chain blade. So that's 30. I just rolled max of my reactor die, so that's another 1. So 31 overhead swing with the chain blade, 31 damage.
Excuse me. That's illegal. Jesus. Okay.
So I thought I was gonna make a cool mech that did like fighty damage. I should have just like with something else.
That the D10 with the chain blade is ridiculous. Yeah. And the battle mode where you add a D4 to it. Yeah.
I didn't even add that D4.
Oh my god. Well, you don't need to. As the plates of this cloak pop off and go flying off, and this mecha kind of prepares to defend itself from Phantom with its beam saber, you completely catch it off guard, Vulcan. And as you charge forward with this chain blade, you completely disable / destroy this mecha. So go ahead and describe what that looks like.
It's an overhead, two-handed downward strike. I impact between the neck and the shoulder, and it's just thrusters firing in different directions as this chain blade just really nasty chainsaws its way down, just about halfway through the mech before he is kind of, okay, that's enough, and rips it back out and kind of gives the corpse a kick in the off into space, not caring about in the pilot or the scrap.
And as the mecha kind of drifts away, there's this flicker from its eye optics that just kind of fades out and it drifts through, disappearing into the blackness of space. All right. Inside the radar installation, Voodoo, you have made it to the airlock. As mentioned previously, you know the codes because you are a defector from this faction. And so as you come up, you're able to put in the code. The airlock slides open. You go through pressurized chamber. You go into the hallway, and you see the hallway leads into this like a bridge section. And there is one guy standing there with a gun with his hand shaking. How would you like to deal with this?
So I immediately approach him as per protocol, and I just sort of raise my hand, like, whatever his rank is, because I can tell on his uniform, right? And I'm just gonna go, hold up, Lieutenant, and then I'll give him my credentials as from the previous army, like a captain, right?
Right.
I'm gonna say it's Captain Day. I'm here to sort of help out with this situation. As you can see, you're under attack.
They didn't tell us you were coming.
I broke away from the rest of the group to try to come help you. You could tell that there was something going on here. We need to secure this location before the enemies break in.
Give me a presence test, please.
Okay.
With advantage, since you know what you're talking about.
Oh, yes! That's so good. There was a 19, but then I got a 5 on the other one, so...
Awesome. So, this guy, he takes his hand off the holstered kind of blaster pistol, and he goes, here, this way, sir, please. And he leads you in, and in the bridge, there are like 4 people like scrambling around, and they're like, I don't care, try and reactivate the sentry guns. We've got to get fire on these mecha. And you can see out the main window, you can see the fight with the that funnel drone mecha that is just ending, and you're able to access the bridge. What do you do as you get on there?
So first I'm going to walk up to one of the computers, and I'm just going to be like, give me a sit rep immediately. And I'm just going to start giving random orders to the various different people to give them random things to do so that they're not looking at me. And then I'm
That's perfect.
Slide my ident card into the machine and then hit 2 buttons to disable the radar system.
Yes. You do so. There is a... And everyone on the bridge is like, what's happening? What's going on?
And I'm gonna look at the guy who led me in and go, what did you touch?
Oh, that's awesome. And as this happens, we cut and we see all of the radar stations. There's probably a dozen of them scattered throughout this blockade. All of them kind of dim and shut off. We see officers panicking aboard cruiser bridges, and they're pointing and giving orders. And as soon as they realize what's happening, it's already too late, as a cruiser, an allied cruiser, kind of jumps in. Fulcrum jumps right in firing range and just hits these cruisers with broadside cannons and completely decimates the front half of the blockade. All of you from your cockpits and from the bridge of the radar installation can physically see the lights of the blockade start to blink out as this blockade is hit from multiple points. You have succeeded in your mission to drop the communications and sensor abilities of the enemy blockade, and you have indeed broken the blockade. So congratulations. Good job on a mission well done.
Saber, you got them stones you promised?
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll be coming out of the oven, fresh, delicious, not too sweet, not too dry. Perfect.
Unfortunately,
Vanilla
I
with
think
cinnamon chips.
while they're having this conversation, I think the unfortunate thing is I'm gonna have to then pull out my gun and just shoot the guy nearest to me, and then have a fight out, just a shootout in the.
So that's what I was thinking. While Slapshot is down in there, I think in that whole facility there's this loud, and as they all kind of, everybody kind of turns and looks at that view screen window, there's just this giant mech of Saber Eon with his hands pressed up, leaning down in and pressing the glass of his cockpit up to the glass of the window, and he flips on the PA, so it kind of reverbs through the glass. You guys gonna come outside and look at this or what? Or do I have to come in there?
Awesome. So I would like to give each of you the chance to do a little outro scene here, describe how you end the mission here. So we'll go ahead and start with Craig, Vulcan Crusader, down here. What is the last thing that we see of Vulcan Crusader?
The last thing of Vulcan is him turning everything off. The battle mode comes off. The frame kind of shifts back into the more humanoid form. And there's this kind of, imagine like radiators that kind of deploy to dissipate all the excess heat from the overuse of both of his transformation abilities, and he sort of takes up an Overwatch kind of position somewhere in the vicinity to defend the evac of his team.
Awesome. Jeff, go ahead. What do we see of Phantom Alpha here?
Phantom Alpha's experience of this is a very bittersweet one. As they look out from the cockpit, seeing this wave of color where there would be other ships that most people would see, Kira instead seeing just the presence of the people within them. As the explosion of color and emotion will come from the dreadnought ship that jumps in to break this blockade, there will be a rush of positive emotion from that side of space. But then as Kira looks to the other side, they'll just see the color shift from confidence to fear to nothing as these ships are vaporized by the attack. And it's a strange feeling, feeling success and pride and joy at a mission well done, while simultaneously seeing so much color fade from space. And they'll just sort of watch this light show that only they can see fluctuate and move and vanish.
Awesome. Joe, Saber Eon, go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta follow that. God damn. Yeah, Saber Eon is kind of there. His bot's kind of in a central position, or his mech, between between the other members of his squad, and there's just kind of like this, his reactor full whirring, and there's just this like dance of St. Elmo's fire, this electric arcing activity between all of the mechs as he's making sure that all the reactors are full up, powered, waiting for that next mission, knowing that they're going one step further. And as that's kind of happening, that his mech is just kind of hunkered down in full utility mode. He's just kind of over the comms going like, yep, now you see, most people when they're making a quiche, they reach for the milk to mix with the eggs, and this is a complete mistake. You really should use heavy cream if you want to get that nice consistent texture. And don't overdo it with the vegetables, because that's going to add too much moisture and you're going to have a soggy crust. Nobody wants a soggy crust. And he kind of just trails off as his utility function is being served to keep everybody moving.
It's actually like very good cooking advice too, as well. It's like legit advice for a quiche.
Well, I mean, I remember.
All right, and Scott, Voodoo Slapshot, aboard this radar installation. All of these people have surrendered as they've had a gun brandished at them and had this mech threaten them from outside, and so they're all kind of standing there with their hands on their head. What do you do?
So I think that interestingly, the last moment is just camera panning away from Slapshot holding the gun on them as they sort of put themselves in handcuffs. But actually ends with looking at the mech Voodoo as it sort of holds on to this sort of meteorite or whatever it is for this piece of debris that this radio station is on, and it just sort of like moves on its own and tilts its head up and roars into space as some of it like blood drips off from the bio parts that have been damaged. And that's the last scene. Cool.
Rad. Very cool. Awesome. So thanks everyone for tuning in. That was Break the Blockade, one of the missions from Mission Manual. I ran it pretty much as is. I did make a few modifications as we went along, just based on what was happening, but I used other tools from Mission Manual to kind of fill in the gaps, including I used our new comms chatter roll table to generate that what the enemy pilot said when the comms came back on, because we have a D20 comms chatter table, which is it's so fun. So all of these guys were playing new chassis. Some of them were trying out some new pilots. We tried some new modules and weapons tonight as well, and I had a lot of fun. All the enemies were new as well. The mecha that could transform, the funnel drone mecha, the sentry guns, all of that was new enemy stat blocks as well. So we tried out a bunch of new stuff tonight, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So if you're interested in backing Mission Manual, you can find a link down in the description. And I will also be running another one of these missions next Friday and every Friday while the Kickstarter is running. So definitely tune in again next week. I want to thank these guys for joining me. Great playing with some of you for the first time, others for many times. And yeah, definitely tune in next week. Thank you everyone for watching. Take care, happy gaming all, and make sure you check out Mission Manual on Kickstarter. We'll see you next time.